Shabbat Shalom. If I were to ask you to name one Jewish prayer, what would that prayer be? I imagine for most of you it was the Shema, which is technically not a prayer, but simply a verse of the Torah. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Listen, Israel. Adonai is our God. Adonai is one. Those words are actually from our Torah portion this week of Va'et Hanan in the book of Deuteronomy, telling us there's an immutable fact that there is one God. These words are so important to the Jewish people. We recite them as part of 2 daily worship services. We recite them before we go to bed. But most significantly, I think that the Shema is known and thought of as the prayer because of its association of the end of life. The last words we were supposed to recite. We often, at least I think of the moments of martyrdom, those periods of history, in particular the Crusades, the Inquisition, the Holocaust, when as Jews were about to die by the sword or by fire even, or entering into the gas chambers, that they would recite those words of the Shema as a final affirmation, a statement of belief, an act of defiance to say that you can't do anything to take away my Jewish identity. These 6 words of the Shema, so powerful. But what does it mean? How do we understand them? Well, so there is one God. That God is Adonai as we know God. But how do we get there? How do we understand and experience this God? We have to listen. Shema. That voice of God is speaking to us each and every day, but we often don't hear it. For example, when you see a beautiful sunset, do you hear the voice of God speaking and saying, we live in a miracle of the universe, and you have an obligation to take care of our planet. When it happens that you are in a relationship and there is conflict, when you have wronged someone or they wrong you, do you recognize the need to repair that relationship? Do you hear God telling you the importance of forgiveness? What about when we pass someone who looks different than us and we often prejudge them? Do we hear the voice of God telling us, each of you is made in my divine image. Not one of you is better than the other. And what about when the world seems to blame the Jews for so much? When we can and are ascribed to being the cause of the ills of the world? Do we hear the voice of God telling us to be proud to be Jewish and to live out those Jewish values that actually bring goodness into the world? Do you hear those voices on a daily basis? Well, that's what it means to Shema, to listen for God. God's voice is there. You just have to hear it. So on this Shabbat, I wish you a Shabbat of hearing God's voice, to appreciate the miracle of the world we live in, to recognize the importance of relationships, and when they're broken, that means that our world is breaking and we need to fix those relationships, of looking at other people and seeing the divinity of God within everybody, and of feeling the pride of being Jewish and living out those values that actually define what it means to be Jewish. On this Shabbat, wishing you the best of a Shabbat Shalom.